Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm excited to be sharing with you my third paper pumpkin alternative projects using the Sweet Sunflowers Paper Pumpkin Kit from August 2022. This fun kit created 9 cards, 3 of these 3 designs. If you're interested in watching me unbox this kit or seeing some of my other alternative projects, you can click on my playlist and I'll link it up here in the top right corner. Today we're going to be using this card base to create our 2 alternative cards. Let me just show you those really quick. So here we have a version of the original card. So then for the second card, we're going to be creating this beautiful arrangement of textures and flowers for this card. If you are new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, click on the subscribe button and then the bell for notifications. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with any of your paper crafting needs. To purchase any of the products you see me use today, or to subscribe to get your own paper pumpkin kit, please visit the links in the description below. Just as a side note, if you're interested in getting any of the holiday paper pumpkin kits, you're going to want to make sure to start subscribing. So September's kit is going to be Halloween themed with some treat boxes. And then we've got some winter and Christmas kits for the October and November kits. So make sure to jump over to Paper Pumpkin and subscribe before September 10th to get this kit, and then the 10th of the corresponding months to get the other kits as well. So we're going to begin with the pop-up panel card. This one is really similar to the card that I made with the second card base, so my second set of alternative cards. Things are just a little different. It's a little smaller of a border that we're going to be giving it. And let's go ahead and get started on it. So we're going to first cut our card base in half at 4 1/4. We're going to be using one full side for underneath this card base here. It's a white card base that we're putting that on. So go ahead and put that to the side. We're going to use that. And then this one we'll use for our second card, and we'll cut that up later. So then we're going to take this really beautiful image and we're going to cut out a centerpiece here. Now, if you look closely, you can see that there is an edge to the center panel, and we're going to line that edge up with the 1/4 of an inch mark on the right side of our score line here. Now, some areas it gets a little tricky to see where it is, so just kind of do your best at eyeballing where that straight edge is. So you can see down here, you know, you got a little bit of it peeking out around that. So start where you feel comfortable. The other thing is that there are some areas where the images come outside of this border. And so you really can't use your top edge as a guide. So you just, what I've been doing is just line up that edge with the 1/4 of an inch edge and then just kind of eyeball, you know, where you need to stop. So you're going to start in the center just like we did before, and then just kind of get an idea of where a 1/4 inch might be from the top and bottom. You don't want to go too far. So I'm just, as you can see, I'm kind of going down a little bit, backing up until I can see that maybe I'm getting close to that 1/4 of an inch mark. Okay. So I don't really have a measurement for you this time. You just kind of need to eyeball it. So again, this line, the inside line, measured at 1/4 of an inch. And I think mine shifted just a little bit. Dang it. Okay, we'll try it again. And then you just come up and cut. And then just kind of just get an estimate of how close you are to that edge there. So that one worked out for me. Rotate it to, again, 1/4 of an inch. So this side is pretty tricky. You've got lots of little things. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring the bottom of this opening here to my 1/4 of an inch line. Okay, so just be patient until you've got it where you want it. Make sure to hold things nice and firm so that things don't shift on you. If by chance you don't go far enough down, then you can always go in with a pair of paper snips and just clip a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that piece now that's ready. I also have cut a piece of crushed curry cardstock that is 1/8 of an inch larger than this piece. So this is 2 3/8 inches by 3 5/8 inches. And that should give me a nice little border for that. So those are the pieces you're going to need. So I'm just going to start adding some things to my card base here. I've got a card base of thick basic white cardstock. I'm going to add my green card base to the front, and that should cover up the whole thing. Oops. Make sure to smooth out your liquid glue so that it doesn't bubble up on you. Then on this one, I'm going to use liquid glue again, and just a little bit along that frame, the outside edge, and any larger sections, I'll just add a little glue, and you can try to get a little bit in the corners as well, just to make sure everything kind of tacks down. You could use glue dots too if you like those instead of liquid glue. And this just goes right in the center. Make sure to rub your finger around those liquid glue areas, again, so it doesn't bubble. If you want to use your bone folder, open up your card base and use the smooth side to smooth it down. Let's go ahead and add this center piece. And we are going to stamp on the center piece. I didn't want to add another layer with a label, so we're just going to stamp right on this one. And I love this for a one-of-a-kind friend. I've used it on a lot of my alternatives. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that one. If you do want to use one of the different, then you can stamp it just on some basic white cardstock. I'm going to stamp this just right to the right of this greeting, or this flower here. So I get this nice greeting that's just kind of poking up through those flowers. Now I do have a little piece of this natural finish ribbon. I liked that little bit of texture that I'm going to add right to the center. I do want to fishtail or create a banner on each end. So you do want to have some nice sharp scissors when you're working with ribbon. And this ribbon easily frays. So what I did is I folded it in half. On the left, I have my fold or my crease, and then it's open on the right. And I'm doing that because I'm left-handed, so I can go from the center to the edge, and I can create this really simple fishtail banner. And then I want to do another one down here. Do the same thing, and maybe about there, because I've got to cut a little bit off. Okay. So that's how I create that, and that's just going to go right in the center. You could use liquid glue, you could use tear and tape, anything to just hold that in place. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And then that's just going to go right in the center. Now, when you add this to your card, you want to make sure that any of the images that it's connecting with, that it's kind of in line with them. So you can see here that we've got this flower, and the flower is continuous all the way across. Same with this leaf stem and these flowers here at the bottom. So you just want it to feel like it's been raised and not shifted. So the last thing that I wanted to add was just a little bit of some embellishments. And for this one, I wanted to do kind of these rose gold embellishments here in the center. This is the brushed metallic adhesive dots pack. So just kind of add those, a couple of those to your card if you have these. If you don't have them, then you could use any embellishments that you may already have. And that card is all done. I love the simplicity of this card and how you are still able to use the really beautiful images to create a fun card. So let's go ahead and move on to card number 2. All right, so for card number 2, we're going to be creating 2 panels from the back of the green card base. I'm going to start by cutting it at 3 3/4. So I'm just going to remove, it's about a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 inches. And then any of these leftover pieces you can use either on the inside of your card or on some other cards. So you can save those if you'd like. Then I've got my card base, and I'm using Sahara sand for the back of this card. So for the card base, I liked this color because it's got a nice neutral color to it, but it's not very dark that it's going to compete with the green of the panels. I do want to add a little bit of splattering, so I've got my soft suede Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to place the brush inside the marker lid and then flick it out, and that's going to give me this nice splattering. So the closer you get, the more directional, but if you move further away, then you just get some nice generalized splatters. So it's going to look something like that. Then we'll add our panels directly to the card base. And you're just going to place them so that they have an even border and a little bit of an opening between them. They don't have to be completely straight too. If you want to have them at an angle, you could do that as well. All right, so now we're going to do the elements for the front of our card. So the first one I want to do is this large leaf in the back, and I've got this from one of the envelopes. So you can see here, this is the envelope, and it's got this beautiful large leaf. And what I did is for my second set of alternative cards, I used the large purple flower. So if you want to go see me use that on some cards, you can go check those out. And so then for this card, I'm going to use this leaf here. So we've got that large leaf right there. That's going to go down. I'm also going to use 2 of these hive vellum pieces. So one's going to go at the top and one's going to go in the bottom. I am going to use one of my sunflowers. This one is watercolored and then stamped. And if you're interested in seeing me do this technique, you can watch my first alternative project. I do share how to do that there, so you can watch me do that. And then I did have one of my smaller sunflower die cuts that I can use. And what I like is that we've got a variation of color because we're going to stack those on top of each other. So if you've already used up all of your sunflower die cuts, then go ahead and make some watercolor ones, but just make them a little lighter. Maybe use a different color of ink or add a little bit more water to them so that you get some variation to that. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp onto my die cut. And I'm not sure if you knew, but it does fit there. It does go ahead and fit the stamp once. So you can kind of adjust it if you want to get a nice stamped image here. So you can see how it does kind of fit the image. However, I do like that fun twist. So I am going to go ahead and stamp a second one. So I'm going to get something that looks like this. And then of course I need to stamp the center. And I'm going to do that in soft suede. Oh, that's funny that I pulled out my crushed curry large and then I also had my crushed curry small with me. That's pretty funny that I did that. So I've got my soft suede ink spot here. And I'm I'm going to stamp this right there in the center. Okay. All right, so I wanted to layer these two flowers on top of each other, and you'll see that the die cut is actually a little smaller, but I also wanted there to be some more texture to it. So what I did is I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to come in here and separate these petals. Now I'm not following any actual stamped line. I'm kind of going with the die cut. So it doesn't need to be, there's no perfect way of doing this. You're just creating texture and depth. I'll kind of show you. So you can kind of see how those are just separated. Okay, no right or wrong way to do that. Maybe the back side shows a little better. I'm going to take a bone folder and just curl those petals up so that you can see that they're a little bit more individual. And I'm going to layer it on top of my watercolored flower, and that just creates a nice full flower. So I've got my leaf, I've got my flower, make sure that goes back in the center, and then I am going to use this, I kind of call them tulips. I'm not really sure what it is, but this tulip die cut that came in the kit, that's also going to go on my card. And then I've got one of the labels. This one is the pink one, but I wanted to have it be white. So I'm actually flipping it over and I'm going to use the thank you greeting that came in the kit for this one. And that's going to get stamped in soft suede as well. And then I think we've got almost all of our elements ready for our card. So we can just start layering them on top. So I'm going to begin by adding my vellum, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive kind of in the center here and down at the bottom. And then just adding my vellum pieces right over that adhesive. I've also got my leaf that I'm going to add. You can see that it's kind of off to the left a little bit. And then my flower. None of these things are popped up right now, so I'm just using regular adhesive to add these onto my card. And that kind of goes off to the right of the leaf. Okay, so you'll get something that looks like this. And then we can go ahead and add this tulip, and I am going to pop this up. So just some little tiny pieces of dimensionals. You can either use the minis that came in the kit, or you can make your own by cutting the edges or separating some large dimensionals into some smaller sizes. Let's see if I can get another one right here. There we go. Okay. And then this is actually going to go in front of the sunflower. So it can be a little tricky because we just added all that beautiful depth. So just kind of carefully add that right to the front. Okay, so something like that. And then for our greeting, I did want to add a little gold bow. So let's actually make our bow first. So I've got 2 glue dots. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I'm going to be making a faux bow. I've got my gold trim. This is from the Simply Elegant trim pack. It comes with gold and silver. I'm going to add just maybe about 2 inches on one side, wrap it so that I've got it maybe about a 2-inch loop on the other side, maybe 1.5 inches. Do the same on the left side. And I'm adhering it to the glue dot as I'm wrapping back and forth. And then I'm going to take that second glue dot and smash it. So now I've got like a little bow sandwich here. And then that can get tucked underneath my greeting. Just like that. And then I can use some dimensionals to add that to my card. Just right underneath my flower. Okay, so it's going to look like that. And then I did want to add some bees. So I've got some bees on glue dots. Just maybe add one right here onto my label. And then of course, maybe add a little embellishments if you have these. So these are the brushed metallic dots, same ones I used on the first card. And I'm just going to use the gold dots for this one. A couple on my leaf up here. And that card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create my third alternative project using the August 2022 paper pumpkin kit. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images of how I created these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you'd like to subscribe to get your own paper pumpkin kit, please use the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.